make sure you take the right door on your way down. There's no telling where you might end up. Can you make it through to the night's end? I'll see you soon.
You ever have one of those mornings where you wake up and nothing's quite right? The coffee tastes like someone else's mouth. The clock says the wrong tomorrow. The mirror. Well, welcome back to the Night's End. I'm Jimmy Horace. We appear to have survived the night, though I'm not convinced the night agreed to that. If you were with us last time, you'll remember our friends Eli, Harper and Taz. Remembering is the point, you see. The masks remember who wears them. The question is whether the world remembers you back. Let's pick up from the morning after, or the morning before. Hard to tell, depending on the angle of the light. Through the Glass, Episode 2, The Street That Loops. Eli woke to light too clean to be real. It sluiced under the blind and painted his wall a white that looked ironed. His tongue tasted like coins and candle smoke. His shoes stood beside the bed, muddy. His pillowcase lay crumpled on the floor, a crease of dark along one edge where the water had soaked and then dried. He sat up. The room smelt faintly of wax. Not the honeyed warmth of church votives, but the cold, chalky kind used to seal envelopes over the mouths of secrets. He reached for his phone. The lock screen said Friday, 31st of October. He stared a moment longer than a sane person would. A laugh came out of him, brittle. Yesterday had been the 31st. He remembered the pumpkins like bad teeth, the old woman's hands, the masks pressed to their faces like second skin. He remembered running until his lungs rasped and the fences blurred and Taz. He remembered not finding Taz. He swiped to the calendar. 31 blinked in an orange circle. He opened the radio app by muscle memory. The breakfast host's voice bounced from the ceiling, cheerful and unalarmed.
Trick-or-treaters out in force tonight. Remember to leave the porch light on and the dog inside. And if you're driving, keep an eye out for little monsters crossing the road.
Eli turned it off. Under the quiet, the house breathed. Not in and out. Not that. Not human. But a gentle settling, like timber remembering where it had been. He pushed the blind up and squinted at the street. It was a different morning wearing the old one's face. Jack-o'-lanterns sat where they had last night. Except the wax inside hadn't sunk. The council bins were back where they'd been before he dragged them out. A man across the road watered a lawn that didn't drink. He found his keys and stepped outside. Shoes unlaced, shirt from the floor, a boy shape trying to pass for a man in broad daylight. Cold air chewed his cheeks. The sky was a hard blue plate someone had scrubbed too clean.
Eli? You're awake.
I think so.
Is it still Halloween?
He looked up. On the eave above his head, a plastic bat hung motionless, the little string not moving in the wind.
It says it is.
I remember everything.
She said, every breath too close to the mic.
The shop. The puddle. The car. I woke up and Mom said it's 31st. She said we should get the lollies ready. She said the thing she always says about not being the house that turns off the lights early. She said it the same way. Exactly the same way.
Where are you?
My place. Can you come?
He shut the gate gently, as if the voice could bring the wrong thing running. The sun felt wrong on his skin, like the heat was painted, not poured. Harper lived 3 streets over, a row of brick veneers with roses clipped into obedient balls, a street of letterboxes with polite mouths. As Eli walked, he noticed the same sedan parked in 3 different driveways, same dent in the rear quarter, same crack in the left brake light like a bloodshot eye. A postman trundled by on a small bike, then trundled by again from the opposite direction, the same parcel on the same rack. He slowed beside a stretch of fence paling with a knothole at eye level. Without thinking, he peered through. On the other side, a yard stood empty. In the sliding door's glass was a reflection of the yard, empty again. In that second yard's glass, a third yard, empty. Far down the infinite corridor of windows, in one pane only, a masked shape crossed the lawn. Slow, patient. It didn't belong to any yard Eli could step into. He jerked back. The sound came late, like it had to come the long way around to reach his ears. Harper stood on her veranda by the time he turned the corner. She alternated between hugging herself and smoothing the air in front of her like she could iron the day flat. She was still in last night's jacket. There were flecks of grey on the cuffs like ash or paper. Her eyes met his and filled.
You're here. You're really here.
I think so?
She came down the steps fast and crushed him in a hug.
Mom's making lolly bags.
She said, as if the words were a confession.
I told her we had enough from last year. She said we give more to make up for the ones we don't. She said the things she always says, every syllable. I could have mouthed along. Dreamt I was in my room, but the walls were glass, and something on the other side kept fogging them up with my breath.
She glanced at his hands.
You're bleeding!
He looked. A thin paper-cut line ran down his palm, the kind you didn't notice until the air hit it.
That's fine.
They started walking because standing still made the day lean toward them. The neighbourhood performed its morning like an understudy who had learned the part phonetically. The sprinkler ticked. The sprinkler ticked again with the same number of clicks. Somewhere, the kettle boiled and kept boiling without a whistle.
We never made it home.
We're home.
I mean, we never made it back. We just unspooled here.
Don't say that.
Say what?
Words that sound like there's more than one of us.
They passed a mirror someone had propped on the verge with a sign that read free in texter. Reflected the sky, then the two of them, then nothing at all. And in the place of their bodies, the hard blue curtain held.
Have you heard from Taz?
Harper's jaw tightened.
He texted at 6.
She held up her phone. One message sat there, a block of text that looked at first like a pocket dial string of letters. When Eli focused, he saw the shape in it. Don't follow him.
Who's him?
Harper put the phone away like she was tucking in a child.
I don't want to know.
They reached the corner. Across the street stood Harper's house again, the same blue letterbox with the chipped corner. The same terracotta pots her mum moved inside when the frost came. And in the bay window, the one above Harper's bedroom, a curtain stirred. She didn't look at first. The body knows when not to. The body knows what it can't survive. Eli touched her sleeve.
Harper.
She raised her head like it weighed something. In the window, Harper stood. The same jacket, the same braid falling over the same shoulder, the same smudge on the cheek where the mask had pressed too long. The girl in the window lifted her hand and set it on the glass, palm out. Her mouth formed a shape. A word fogged the pain from the wrong side. Backwards. Harper sounded the letters without meaning to.
S-T-A-Y.
The hand moved, tracing a second word beneath the first. The breath left a clean oval where the palm warmed the pain. The backwards letters bled forward into sense. Stay flat. Harper's throat clicked as she swallowed.
What does that mean?
Eli could not answer. The girl in the window tilted her head, the same way Harper did when she was pretending not to cry. The angle was a fraction off, like a photograph printed wrong.
That's not me,
Harper said, the words coming out small and even and very far away.
Son.
In every other window on the block, curtains moved. You could hear the dust fall. You could hear the morning try to remember itself. The girl in Harper's window raised her other hand. Behind the glass, the room tensed like water.
Don't wave,
Eli said, too late for anything but the same. The glass didn't break. It only breathed. Harper stepped back from the window, arms tight to her ribs. The curtain settled. The girl inside lowered her hand and smiled a little, like someone rehearsing forgiveness. Eli turned, grabbed Harper's wrist.
We're leaving.
They cut through the next yard, over a fence, through another. Every block they crossed, the air thickened. The wind carried a sound like slow applause. They reached the highway, or what should have been the highway. The road bent away from them, wound a lazy curve around the trees, and fed them back into town. The same petrol station, the same Happy Halloween banner sagging on half-dead balloons. Eli stopped the car they'd borrowed from Harper's mother, engine running. Dashboard clock flashing 12 o'clock repeatedly. The trip odometer read 0.
You sure you didn't miss the turn?
There isn't a turn.
He tried again. 15 minutes later, they rolled past the same petrol station. He killed the engine. The silence that followed was too thick to breathe through. From the rearview mirror, the road behind them shimmered. In it, the reflections of the trees leaned forward as if listening. They got out. Walked. The bitumen felt warm under their soles, though the sun was already sliding west. At the next intersection, a shopfront window showed them walking toward it, except the mirrored pair were already halfway past. Harper's reflection turned her head first, lips moving. Her real mouth hadn't caught up yet.
Did you see?
She began. Her reflection finished for her.
See me?
The sound came from the glass itself, thin as wind through reeds. Harper froze. The mirrored mouth shaped another word.
Stay.
Eli pulled her away. The reflection followed along inside the glass, gliding like water behind them. Every window joined the chorus, mouths opening. No air, no lungs, only words pressed between surfaces. They turned a corner and there he was. Taz. He stood under a street lamp, mask gone, smiling too wide. Around him shuffled a dozen trick-or-treaters, tiny shapes in identical costumes, paper faces with holes for eyes. Their steps were perfect, mechanical, a looped march of soft soles on concrete.
Taz!
Harper ran before Eli could stop her. Taz looked up, blinked like he was remembering how.
Hey, you came back.
His voice had a dry rustle under it, like pages turning. Harper touched his arm. Her fingers left a thumbprint of grey dust. She jerked back. The spot she'd touched dented and smoothed itself out again.
We have to go.
Taz smiled.
Already did.
He opened his mouth wider, as if to say something else, and a curl of thin paper unrolled from between his teeth. It fluttered down, landing at Harper's feet. On it, written backward, a single word: stay. She bent to pick it up, but it disintegrated the moment her skin brushed it. The children around Taz turned their heads at once, a dozen paper masks tilting in unison, and began to hum. Not a song, a tone. The same tone the glass had made. Harper screamed his name. Taz looked at her without recognition. His outline folded once, twice, like a photograph creasing itself, and was gone. Only the hum remained, looping softly until it matched the rhythm of their heartbeats. They ran again, until the streets blurred into one another. Every cul-de-sac emptied into another that looked the same. Every number on the mailboxes reset to 31. At some point, they found themselves back outside Harper's house, or its copy. The curtains were open now, The other Harper wasn't in the window anymore. Harper tugged Eli's sleeve. Every door on the street was opening. Handles turned together, hinges complaining in the same note. From each doorway, a breath of air pushed out that smell of wax and soil and something wet left to dry too long.
Run!
They didn't, because the figures in the doorways were already stepping down the paths. Grey, papery, precise. Each wore a mask that looked exactly like the person watching. Harper's double tilted her head, and from somewhere, maybe the glass, maybe the air, her voice answered a question no one had asked.
You don't have to do it again. We will.
The doors opened again, as if the houses had exhaled and forgotten how to draw breath back in. Eli and Harper backed towards the centre of the street. Behind them, the road shimmered, the heat haze of a place remembering itself wrong. The figures that had stepped out of the houses were still there, holding their masks by their sides, tilting them as if testing which face fit best. Harper's double smiled, teeth too clean, eyes like wet paper. She began to walk forward. The rest followed. Eli took Harper's hand, pulled her towards the only direction left, down a narrow lane between houses. The walls pressed close, brick to brick. The sky overhead was a tight blue vein.
We'll go around. Somewhere new.
Every step ended where it started. The lane fed into itself, a perfect loop of red brick and echo. When they turned, the opening they'd come from was gone. There was only the same lane stretching on and on, each wall hung with house numbers, 31. Every few meters, a window set into the brick. Every window, their reflections. The mirrored pair walked slightly ahead. In one pane, Harper's reflection wasn't holding Eli's hand. In the next, Eli's reflection was alone. By the third, they were both gone, and the window showed only the lane itself. Empty. Except for one small bright candle burning where their shadows should be. Harper pressed her hand to the wall. It was warm.
The bricks are moving.
They were. The mortar pulsed under their palms, breathing shallowly. When they leaned closer, they heard a soft whisper, like pages turning, like wax peeling off skin. Eli stepped back.
It's not the air looping.
What then?
The town. It's alive. It's remaking itself every time we blink.
A child's laughter ran down the lane, the same laugh from every direction. He turned and saw a boy about 5 years old standing at the far end, clutching a pillowcase heavy with lollies. His mask was the same blank child face the old woman had given them. He lifted a hand and waved.
Don't!
Harper hissed.
I know.
But the boy dropped the bag and began to run. Not toward them, but around them. His footsteps circled the lane once, twice, 3 times, each lap faster than sound. On the 4th, there was no boy, only the pillowcase lying open at their feet. Inside were 3 masks, Eli's, Harper's, and Taz's. They ran again. The lane spat them out onto another street, the same street. Only this time every house had the same number, every mailbox the same nameplate. Hargrove family. The same as Eli's. Harper stopped.
Eli? That's your mother's maiden name, right?
He nodded slowly.
How do you know?
Every porch light flickered on together. At each door stood the old woman, a copy at every threshold, face split by the same perfect grin.
The masks remember. The world only wears what it knows.
She stepped forward, and so did the 100 others. Each one carried a mirror small enough to hold, silvered just enough to see your shape, but not what you were. Harper took a step back, trembling.
Don't look.
Eli already had. In every glass, he saw himself at a different age. 8, 15, 20, each version wearing the mask. Each version smiling like it was an honor. The reflections began to move independently, their mouths opening and closing in silence, then together in perfect chorus.
You left us behind!
Eli dropped to his knees, covered his ears. The sound wasn't coming through them, it was vibrating in his bones. The mirrors shattered, but the faces didn't vanish. They hovered in the air where the shards had been, masks of light, their eyes hollow tunnels of night. Harper screamed as one of the faces lunged towards her. Eli grabbed her, but his hands passed through smoke. Her reflection, the one that had stood in the window that morning, stepped out from behind her, calm, smiling.
It's easier if you don't resist.
Harper's body convulsed. For a moment she looked like she was made of wet paper, the creases forming, smoothing, setting. When she raised her head again, her eyes were glass.
Harper?
Eli whispered. She blinked once. The reflection blinked a beat later. Then both smiled.
We can stay now,
she said, voice doubled. Eli turned and ran. Every window he passed bloomed with faces, his own. Endless, each one mouthing, "Stay flat, stay flat." He stumbled onto the cul-de-sac that looked almost peaceful, trimmed lawns, quiet fences. Children's bikes tipped on their sides. In the centre stood a single house, his house. The door was open. The hallway beyond glowed faintly, as if lit from inside a mirror. He stepped across the threshold. Inside, every wall was a reflection of another. He walked past versions of himself in every frame, each a second behind the last. At the end of the hall, a full-length mirror waited. His reflection there wasn't delayed at all. It smiled.
You don't have to keep running. We already finished.
Eli reached out. The glass met his palm with a warmth that shouldn't have been possible. He felt fingers close around his from the other side. And that's where it happens, isn't it? The place between the blink and the breath. That's where the reflection steps through. That's where the world folds. Eli's gone now. Or maybe he was always on that side. Hard to say where the glass begins anymore. If you're listening to this, don't touch the mirror. Don't even look for your face. Because if you see it smiling first, you've already been replaced. This has been a production of Dissonance Media. Through the Glass, Ep.2, The Street That Loops, was written by James Barnett. Elijah was performed by Denis Dietrich. Harper was performed by Naomi Richards. Taz was performed by Brandon P Jenkins. Old Woman was performed by Erika Ventura. Additional voices provided by James Barnett. This story was narrated by Jimmy Horrors, aka James Barnett. If you enjoyed, please do recommend it to a friend. To support The Night's End and Dissonance Media, you can join us on Patreon, where you can listen ad-free and get bonus stories. Happy Halloween. And remember, stay horrific, everyone.